Hi guys, hope you're doing okay. It is the 12th of November. I shouldn't be recording really. Last night I did not sleep at all. As much as I try and keep a routine, I find it so difficult. That's one of the hardest aspects. You know, obviously I eat food and shit like that, but my God, the sleep is the main issue. So I'm going to be a bit more mindful of that. Because the issue is that when I get my mind stuck on something, I want to fix it. I want to find out the solution. And like yesterday on Twitch, I streamed these exercises I was doing regarding dictionaries until like ridiculous o'clock. I spent like 4 hours streaming it. And then I went back afterwards just to go back through the pages to make sure it sank in. So I reckon it took me 12 hours to understand dictionaries completely, nested dictionaries and how to work them in Python. But anyway, I went to the Jobcentre today, and that's always an experience. But this was my first week sort of back where they asked me what I'm up to. And so I explained to them, I said to them, I spend around 5 to 6 hours a day looking for jobs, and I spend the rest of the time coding. And I eat in between. And I track my jobs through a Notion template or a Notion. I might sell the template on the marketplace because it's quite fancy and I made it all pretty. And it's linked, so different databases linked. So you have a little job board where you apply and that's based on statuses, and then sort of loops through in terms of time applied and data that I could use to feed into my Shaker assistant. Yeah, so basically I'll just copy paste that onto the Universal Credits job board because they asked me to put the jobs on there. But that's what frustrates me, because the job site is just the system is so flawed, because one does not simply get a job by applying on Indeed and CV Library and stuff. First of all, the unemployment rate in the UK has gone up to 5%, which is really high compared to previous statistics. I've seen on LinkedIn, at least, some of the jobs that I used to do have like 1,000 applications, which is quite high. But then you look at entry level stuff, which everyone can do, and they're quite high as well. But let's put a really conservative amount on applications per job. Let's say 200 to 300. And let's assume their guarantees 200, because my math's terrible. 200, that's 0.5% chance of your CV being successful, assuming the CVs are 100% considered for that job role. But the issue with that is there's something called ATS, right? And ATS is a 75% success rate. So out of 100, 75% failure rate. So if there's 100 applications per job with a 75% ATS decline, that means 25 applications go through per job. And then you've got obviously the human factor in. So when a human sees your CV, they have to go through X amount of CVs a day. Obviously go crazy unless they're a dedicated recruiter. Not to mention, most recruiters don't actually know exactly the role unless the person looking for the role is within the company, the direct sort of department. Because if you've got like a recruiter who works for the company, they often don't know the requirements of that given role, or they don't understand what like Python or APIs, all this stuff means. They're just buzzwords, right? So it's a clusterfuck. That's what I'm trying to say. And so you need to just message loads of people, and that's what I do. Try and add people on LinkedIn, build a network of people, build that social awareness of your situation, try and get help. Don't get me wrong, right? Whoever's watching this, it's like a plea for help. I would happily work for very low pay, just enough money so I can pay my rent and afford to eat food, work my ass off for a given company if they'll take me on. That's what I did in my previous role, really. There were some weeks where I did 8 hours overtime in that week. Over the hours I was doing just like 35, just to get my numbers up but it still wasn't enough. They shafted me. I guess moving forward, that's why I spend half my time looking for work and the other half time coding and upskilling and building what I'm building, because that way I think the only way out of this shithole, this situation, is to build something for yourself that you can monetize. My path to that is learning how to use AI through coding and making solutions for businesses. Because anything other than that, in my opinion, so entry-level stuff, so let's say stuff that can be automated easily, that doesn't require movement or robotics, will be automated very quickly. And then stuff like electricians and plumbing and stuff like that, I reckon there'll be a lot of people that do those jobs, but eventually that'll be replaced by robotics, because that will be a cheaper solution. I mean, you already see that with Amazon. To think that electricians or plumbing will be any different is ridiculous. It just might take a bit longer. So this is why I'm learning what I'm learning, because it's more future proof than anything else I can see right now. But that's been my update. I'm going to apply for a lot more jobs, and then I'm going to stream my coding, which will be user input and while loops. I did sleep well last night, so I don't know how much I'll do in terms of the coding, but I'll try and get 3 or 4 hours in at least. But yeah, hope you guys are doing better. Hope you guys are doing well. Not the greatest video today, as I say, I haven't slept well, but try and up my game for these. Cheers, guys.